Hi, I'm Ashley Swartz, CEO and founder of Furious Minds. Email me at ashley@furious-minds.com if you have some questions or comments. So I wanted to talk about TVOT Tomorrow's show last week. It was for 2 days in San Francisco. It's the bigger event of the two during the year. Tracy Swedlow puts it on, who is an incredible advocate and proponent of the space. And I had a lot of reflections sort of after the event as well as while at the event. It's always great, so, an opportunity to get the best minds, the people that are really pushing the envelope and innovation agendas within the space of transmedia storytelling, interactive or enhanced television, as well as just kind of this whole ecosystem of second screen. And they're always great conversations. It's always a notable void of the advertising industry sort of there, because I think this is much more upstream as to making stuff happen in lieu of then how do we activate it once it's in a marketplace. So my biggest reflection was that I felt like we were in this sort of the same place last year in regards to the nature of the conversations, the dialogue that was occurring on the panels, as well as the hubbub outside in kind of the common area. The big thing that I noted though is that I think the tone and the attitudes were a little bit different. People were a bunch more optimistic, but I think that's because a lot of the small companies that were there, last year they were all pitching. They were in their funding rounds. The capital markets have freed up over the last year, and a lot of them have actually closed around in the last couple months. So I think that changed the optimism in the space as well, which was great. I was fortunate enough to be able to participate in 2 panels. I had a fireside chat with Eric Free, who's the head of content and addressable advertising at Intel for the new pay TV platform. It was a great conversation, learned a lot. Closed attendance, couldn't get enough folks in the door. They were turning people away. And then I moderated a panel on measurability, targetability, and addressability, sort of the last day, next to last. And, one of the things I noticed that was consistent is that there's this emotional connection with interactive television and that word. A lot of people have a lot of baggage in the industry that have been in it for a while, right? So the idea of like ITV is a dirty word because they all are still bitter and angry when it comes to EBIF and all that stuff. And so the other thing is that because of that, it makes language really difficult. We don't have the same language to talk about what interactive experiences are on television, which means when it comes to things like defining standards of tracking and measurability and closing those loops, it gets even more difficult. When you think about creating a value proposition to a marketplace that then results in revenue and building a sustainable P&L, it gets even more complicated. So I think it's a big part of us finding our momentum in the space of sort of the future of television and convergence is finding the same language about which to talk about it. A lot of great experiences, amazing visionary products happening on multi-screens between using actual second screen experiences in a long form setting like a movie theater and getting people to turn on their phones, was one example which occurred in Holland, I believe. A few other really great examples, some great winners like Turner and the stuff they did with the NCAA. Great stuff. Not a lot of scale though. Still not a ton of scale, especially around the second screen. We are starting to see a tipping point for scale when it comes to the amount of connected televisions that are in market and are actually connected and tracking data and using things like video ACR. So as far as approachability and us hitting a turning point of being able to actually start to activate and deploy things on these platforms, we are there. We're getting there, and I hope to be part of pushing that agenda and making it happen. The other thing, especially as I had a company called Innovid and MixPro, 2 of those companies on my panel, and Tal's an old buddy of mine from Innovid, and one of the things that I realized is, wow, okay, so interactive video is working, great, good money, volume, tonnage, there's reach, etc. But again, interactive television, not working. 1, because it's still a dirty word, but 2, because we don't really know how to define it. And the third thing is that we don't have enough scale in this space to define interactive TV to the same caliber of experience and measurability and ability to optimize, most importantly, as we do on the web. And I think that's part of keeping that chasm between the reach of television and the opportunity as far as deploying secondary experiences that drive a response path or have a call to action from the core 30-second spot. Still the same conversation on revenue. Where's the money in the second screen? And it's interesting, right? I was on a panel the year before last, and my buddy, the ITV doctor, it was last year, the ITV doctor, Rick Howell, had me be the bad guy, which I'm sure surprises everybody because I'm so pleasant, with 6 second screen players. And I had, asked the hard questions about revenue and their strategy. And at the end, Rick surveyed the audience and said, how many people think 5 of these players are going to be here next year, and asked for a round of applause. It was a bit harsh, a little bit. I'm not a schadenfreude person, but at the end of the day, not a lot of those guys were back, I have to be honest. And so maybe Rick had a point last year that the reality is, he called it, there's not a lot of revenue because of the lack of scale on the second screen and standardization, and that was omnipresent and highly visible this year. The other thing that I realized sort of in closing is that It's not a TV conference, it's a technology conference. And what does this say about television when, we continue to talk about the fact that content is king and, at the end of the day, the 10-foot experience is passive and immersive and all the things that make television great. But the reality is that, programmers and content owners are still struggling as it becomes more and more about technology and less about storytelling, where their revenue stream is and how their P&L will change over time. I think it's a really important reason as to why we need the same language about which to talk about the space to make it more easily approachable, sellable, but most importantly, viable by the advertising community, which is obviously the lens that I care about. So give me your questions and comments. Thanks so much. Bye.